So today we're just doing a quick explanation and demonstration video of how a pressure relief valve works. So a PRV valve is pretty important with this type of setup, and the reason being, anything with a closed end system, so a valve on the end of the pipework, reel, whatever sort of mechanism that may be, well, that'll allow the pump to keep pumping and build up pressure. Once it passes a certain threshold, then something's got to give way, and it'll either be the seal in the pump head, or worst case scenario, it'll actually crack across the bottom of the pump there. That is a pretty expensive fix, so with this sort of setup, it's definitely best practice to have a PRV valve fitted on the system. For this example, we're just going to connect this up onto the mains pressure, which normally is around 1.5 bar on average. So we'll just be adjusting the valve just to show you how it releases pressure. Where it releases pressure from here, you'd usually feed back to a tank or wherever the water is coming from, so it feeds back into the system. As you can see inside, there's like a gate valve. What happens is, inside here there's a spring, and as you want to do this nut on top, it just takes the tension out of the spring just that little bit more to allow pressure to release itself once it gets to a certain threshold. So to set the PRV valve, really you need a 17mm spanner as such, and then you just need to turn the top nut, and what happens inside there, it just takes off that bit of tension. And what you want to do to set it to the correct pressure, because you may have a different pressure coming in, you just keep turning it, and what you'll start to see is just a little seep of water. Once you've got that water there, that's your pressure mark. So you just want to tighten it just a little bit past that, as such. Now we know that if that system over pressurizes, that valve will open, and when it opens, it'll relieve the pressure in the system, and it'll protect the pump or the system, whatever it's connected to, it'll protect. This part of the PRV, as you can see, there's an arrow that goes through. As we've connected it just to the mains, what you'd usually have is a T section here, which will be your outlet back to your cabins or whatever you're providing using the PRV. This connection here would feed back into your water tank. This would then, if there's any overflow or any pressure relief, this would then pump back into your water tank so you don't lose the water.